Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today is March 25th, 2021, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the markets waver on lower volume. Then there's no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the major sectors, starting out with the Forex symbols, the dollar trickling higher versus the major pairs, but nothing to really write home about, really wavering. Now looking at the indices, the Dow Jones bounces, but pairs its gains. NASDAQ pretty much unchanged. And looking at commodities, gold unchanged and really trading on very light volume. Oil sells off after a bounce. And looking at the tech sector, really trickling down with not a lot of gusto, not a lot of volume. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin, we finally sold off to the bottom range and then we're bouncing off support. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to start here with the Eur Usd. I just want to highlight the fact of how tight of a range we're in. When I say trickling down, I really mean trickling down. I mean, yesterday we were trading at 1834 and we traded as low as 1816. Okay, so that's 20 pips, all right, 25 pips at most. So really a very tight range when we're looking at the Forex symbols. GBP also quite tight, okay, in about a 7 to 8 pip range. Okay, really very tight. Okay, you can't really write home about that. However, looking at gold, okay, gold has also been very, very tight. As you can see here, 1733, pretty much unchanged. And looking at oil, this is where it gets interesting. We did get that bounce after we sold off below that $57, $57.25, below $60 a barrel, and now bouncing right there at 60 bucks. Okay, that's a fair value for gold right now, as the markets have digested both the production and consumption of oil right now, as demand and the price has come to meet at this level. Now looking at the Dow Jones, this is really where it gets kind of interesting. Yesterday we bounced all the way up to 32,000, almost 600-ish level, okay, just touching it and then retracing. Okay, so all intents and purposes, we're really trading in a very, very flat line. If we look at the NASDAQ as well, also just really unchanged, very choppy kind of trading, as we're really flatlining around this 12,795, just below that 13,000 point. Okay, and with that said, this is a 1 hour chart. If you look at a 4 hour chart, you can see how tight we are in possibly a 70 to 80 point move. Okay, for a index, that's quite tight. Okay, now looking at the individual stocks, if we look at the tech stocks, Apple just trickling down. If we look at Facebook, also retraced after that nice little bounce above. If we're looking at Amazon, also, just trailing lower, but not breaking out lower. Okay, I don't see any breakouts where, a new trend is forming. So sometimes in these type of environments, you just got to keep your hands off the keyboard, just to wait until something actually fruites. Now, what has been trading is Bitcoin. Beautiful retracement yesterday. Finally broke that $55 range. And this is when the cat gets out of the bag, okay? Because ultimately, it gives it to you, gives it to you, and finally there's a capitulation and of oversell and then a bounce, okay? And once you get that bounce, that's really where you're looking to get into, okay? So we are at the bottom of that range of 52,000. So this may be something interesting to get involved in as we enter this part of the market. But remember, it's on support. But just be careful with this, because this has always, it's a very volatile symbol, okay? So even if you buy a little bit here and just test the waters to see that it's holding this line, the support line, okay, just be careful on the downside, because it could still make a correctional move. So in all intents and purposes, we are sideways trading here when we're looking at Bitcoin, okay? So nothing really jumping at me today in the market to let me know. We are going into Easter holiday, so that's also something to consider as the markets are consolidating some of the information, and people are getting into that mode of before we get into the major corporate earnings as we go into the following month. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.